Wow. Okay. So hello guys, I have been away, so this video is completely packed to provide you with some thoughts, some news, some games, and get you up to speed about what to get excited for in the VR space, or question your existence, which as a VR enthusiast I do far too often. So enough chin wagging, let's get started. Starting with a recent one, the Catwalk had opened up their Kickstarter just yesterday, and within something like 6 minutes, they had reached their goal of $250,000. Then within 30 minutes, they had nearly doubled that. The Kickstarter is still active for their Catwalk C2, the next model for their consumer virtual reality treadmill, which is to improve upon the issues of C1. Things like strafing, walking backwards, kneeling down, and improved tracking of the feet with a new pair of shoes and sensors. So you can now get even more knackered running in virtual reality on the spot, like I'm a 10-year-old in a PE class. The C2 Plus also got some additional features, which rule 1, to become a true pro gamer, you must have configurable LEDs on any device. It also has integrated haptics on the base for the feeling of different terrains while stepping, and using vehicles, which should be quite interesting, but you do have to pay an additional fee for the upgraded model. You can even now sit down when you're too tired, which will happen probably in about 5 minutes of using this device. And if you're interested, I will link it down below in the description. But one thing that's kind of upset me are the stretch goals. The stretch goals look like the kind of thing that should be happening regardless. The first one is a magnetic cable, which yeah, that's a nice to have. But then the next one is 10 demos and a way for developers to integrate their games with this device, which surely that's something that should be happening no matter what. And the last stretch goal, to support the largest virtual reality headset around with no PC. Again, why is that not a standard objective or target to achieve in the future? But anyway, let's move on. I am saltier than a battered cod by the coast on a bank holiday Monday. Is it just me, or do all of these virtual reality peripherals that are coming out recently or being experimented with all have rather adult R-rated connotations? Recently we had the lip simulation, which, yeah, no more needs to be said on that, but now we have a VR gas mask that makes breathing more difficult. And now I've said that out loud, it sounds even more messed up, but the logic for this is in stressful situations, they can restrict the breathing to cause you to actually be in a highly stressful state and cause some panic in Skywalker. It's also helpful for some other things, such as adding resistance to the air blowing out. So if you're playing an instrument, a wind instrument, it can add resistance to your blowing. Or when you're near a fire, it can restrict your breathing to make it harder to breathe, like the room is completely full of smoke. So it is for immersion and not erotic asphyxiation, sadly. The tech does seem very edge-cased, but it's something to think about when we're trying to create another skin or another body to escape this real world and move into a virtual one. Because we will destroy the world that we're living in, and this topic gets really interesting when you start thinking of the simulation theory and history repeating itself. So I may add a clip to my second channel talking about my thoughts on that, because it gets deep and it is actually kind of really interesting. So please check my second channel out, I'll leave a link down below in the description, and also join the Discord, we can have a chat, and you'll be notified as soon as my video is up. I do also have lots of new game announcements to cover, but I first want to get through all of this interesting tech, and this one is about the Cambria. We recently had tons of new footage and reports coming in after the Zuck pixelated a headset that we've all seen before, so the only reason I can think of him doing that is we've seen the renders, but we've not seen the real thing, or is he just having a complete laugh like Boz said on his AMA? But if we're going by that logic, this is how I've seen people since 2018. So the Cambria was showcased in this video, and in the past he has kept on saying that this is an enterprise device, but continued to show off a game using AR technology with a high quality coloured pass-through. At the start he is moving his hand around, and I can't tell if this is on purpose, if it was developed this way, or if the experience actually had a delay. It looked like there was some lag. He also threw a ball down, but they did not show us this faster paced interaction, which I find interesting too. The video did say the full colour pass-through will only be available on the Cambria, as this is supposed to be a productivity headset, so blending the real worlds is going to be more important when using a keyboard and mouse and a notepad and things like that. But saying that the Cambria is going to be the only one with HD colour pass-through means the Quest 3 or the Quest 2 Pro, whatever the device is going to be if the Cambria is not one of those things, will not have colour pass-through. Like, what the heck? This augmented reality demo will be coming through App Lab, so you can enjoy the experience on your low quality grayscale pass-through at the very least. Cambria is said to have a depth sensor and cameras for the pass-through that is 3 times the resolution of the Quest 2. It does not look perfect in the video, but I'm sure inside the headset it looks way better, and I still can't wait to try it, even though this is probably going to be super expensive. Bosworth also did an AMA and released more information upon this headset, so I'll summarise some super interesting points that he discussed in this AMA. So he said consumers can actually buy the Cambria. It is going to be sold as an enterprise headset, but consumers can buy it as well. So it's going to be marketed as a productivity headset and the price will reflect that. But consumers, people like you and I, we can still buy this headset. It is also going to be part of the Oculus ecosystem as well. So he said it will work with existing cables and you will be able to use the Air Link or the Oculus Link and use it as a PC VR headset. We also had Bosworth smile when he says the pass-through is something else compared to what we've experienced so far, and that has me excited, because I've only ever seen a smile like that when they're giving out the dessert menu. Then the final thing that made me go back and think, is the Cambria actually going to be a Quest 2 Pro? Because they already said consumers can buy it, Mark was playing games on it, and then Bosworth has gone and said, when someone asked if the Quest is going to go away when all these new headsets come out, he said even with the release of the Cambria, the Quest 2 will still be a device that will continue to sell. The way he said it seemed like the device could be a replacement for the Quest 2, but it's going to still be on the market for people to buy as a cheaper option. I could be reading too much into it, but his eyes were ever so interesting. Another thing that could be the planets aligning for us with the leaks that we saw a while back around the controllers that had cameras on them, a lot of us jumped on the bandwagon saying this is going to improve the tracking, but a new research project has come out that connects a few dots, and thus I am mixing some speculation with some cool tech in this one. So researchers at the Carnegie Mellon University have shown the potential for full body tracking using cameras on the controllers. Meta have already said that the full body tracking through the headset just is not possible due to occlusion. And then there are some form factor issues. As we reduce the form factor, you see even less looking down, especially if you have a big old belly full of jelly. In the leaked photos, we only saw a camera facing the user, much like the researchers project that we see here. There is also one off to the side facing inwards to the body, and there could be more that we haven't seen, such as one at the bottom of the controller. So it could have a similar setup to this research. This would also keep the device as a complete standalone experience, which the Oculus Quest, the Meta Quest, is actually supposed to be. So there will be potential for full body tracking and face tracking on a standalone device. In the research demo, it shows them taking the camera footage and compositing it to make a full body view of the left controller and the right controller. Similar tech we already see in the VR space, which they use for pass-through, because the cameras for pass-through don't actually match the position of your eyes, so some processing has to be done. It's not quite the same, but there is something similar going on there. And the research showed some simple demos showing off the user's feet in yoga, some sports, and some feet saber. So please let me know your thoughts on this, because this seems very plausible and I would love to see this. This is the kind of tech I want to see in a next generation headset, even if it is a worse version than using lighthouses and trackers. That's just like standalone tracking. It is worse than using the lighthouses, but it is good enough sometimes. Okay, I think it is game time. I've been talking far too much about tech. There are some new games coming out that were not in the Oculus showcase that are actually quite exciting. Most of these games are pretty damn decent. So the first one, for those that did not like Battle Sister, as it was a Warhammer shooter experience, this one is Warhammer Tempest Fall, which is actually coming to the Quest platform on May 19th for $25. This game was a nice surprise because it was a PC VR title, and in it you'll embody a member of the Stormcast going into battle with the Nighthaunt. Has a mix of gesture controls just like in the Wizards, which I absolutely loved. I really liked that mechanic. It also has classic arcade style combat, which on the PC VR version wasn't the best, but there's been tons of updates since then, so I'm hoping the Quest version will be improved. This game is also a single player campaign experience, which for me lacks far too much on the Quest platform. At least half decent ones. The gameplay teases what you'd expect, some bad lighting, some flat looking textures. It is a Quest game after all, but it's definitely a welcome addition. We also have a new trailer showing off the gameplay of a game I've been waiting for such a long time. We got a teaser last year, I think it was, that gave nothing away except the concept of the game. And this is Ultimex, which looks like Knock or Rocket League, one of those styled experiences, a single player or team-based competitive sport title trying to get a ball into the opponent's goal. It doesn't look like a completely free movement title. It has locations that are static that you can jump to, which could be better for new players because it removes that barrier to entry where they feel motion sickness running around in this field. They can just choose a spot, it's static, and fire at this ball. Because you'll then fire rockets off your arms, which you can control mid-air like a missile launcher from a classic Bond multiplayer title. What a throwback. So you fire that missile at the ball to try and hit it across the map into the goal. And I'm thinking this is like Tower Tag and Knock had a baby. And it's also made by Resolution Games, which is a fantastic studio that make just simple, fun titles at a high quality. Another title with mech in the name is World of Mechs, another sweet title that will tie me over until we get rigs on PlayStation VR 2, at least I hope. Or if it could come to Quest 2, that would be even better. This is a project from Studio 369 where you'll be placed in the seat as a pilot in a mech bot battling it out against other people online. But it also has a single player experience with over 20 missions, in case you didn't want to socialize, which I do understand. The title also has an online mode though, where you can choose between 32 different bots and play 4 versus 4 matches PvP. It does seem like a more agile, fast-paced mech experience, unlike some others that we've recently had on Quest, which are more realistic in terms of the constraints of a 100-ton robot. So that's it from me today, guys. Thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. I hope I put a big smile on your face at some point and information into your brain, and we can make the VR world a better place. Please click down below to subscribe and join me on this VR journey into the future, and have a great week. Happy gaming. Good day!